My screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, and okay, that part I will discuss later. Now, mostly for this IPL dataset prediction, we will be majorly working on this two dataset. One dataset will be regarding to the details, or the rows and the columns will be provided to us regarding the description for the every single match details, and another one will be the every single ball details. Okay, these two will be the data that we'll be more or less working on. Okay, this is the data set for our the matches. Okay. Even if you guys for the core data science people, if you want to do some more work, you can like imply this data set and try to learn how this data set you can send to your SQL libraries. Okay, how you can extract this is the data set from the SQL libraries to your Python directly, as I already teach you to my batch, and this maybe batch 15 people. Okay, so this data sets you can see currently the data will be having like every ID for the different matches. Okay, and the venue, like this is neutral venue, and this is our normal venue, like city, which city it will be playing on. Okay, so neutral venue means, suppose you are a team, say your Bangalore or maybe your Kolkata Knight Riders. So most of the matches you will be playing in your home ground or in your away ground. So half of the matches you will be playing on your home ground, and half of the matches you will be playing in your away ground. Okay, and there will be some venue where there is no bound to your home ground to away ground. Means, say you are playing to your final, and final may be scheduled at say Chinnaswamy Stadium or maybe our in Delhi. Then this particular venue will be called as a neutral venue. Okay, so that's why when those basic stages had be situated as your home and the away matches, that's why its neutral venue is shows as 0. Otherwise, when we'll work on, we'll check if there are some others venue we can find or not. Okay, so when we'll be working on in each and every project, the main key target will be, first we understand the data, what type of data we had. Okay, what type of data category we have, that's we should understand before, then we can start working on. Okay, based on our business question we may arise there. Okay, similarly there will be like team 1, team 2, the venue will be playing, then the toss winning. After the toss winning, what are the decision the winners team deciding, then the net result which is the winning, then what is the result of your winning, either the team is won by some runs or maybe wickets. Okay, the margin, then eliminator, then method. Okay, method means you can see this is a na value. Na value maybe in some scenarios this should not be any data should be there, because as a normal match there is a normal procedure game, so the method is normal. So there will be chance that in some data set you maybe find this method can be as a blank data set, or maybe nan value, or maybe as a written as a regular value. Okay, then our umpires and all, this is our matches match data. And next is our ball by ball details. So this is a huge chunk of data. If you have an enough RAM in your system, then you can import, because it's had more than 20 and 1 lakhs or 2 lakhs of rows will be there. So it does not have in contain that every single ball details of a data, but it tries to collectively collected more or less the ball details of our entire IPL matches from 2008 to 2022. Okay, because you can see the negative or some drawback of this data set also, like when this first innings the over counted as the sixth over, where the fifth ball and the sixth ball, rather than the previous details like from zeroth over to until this fifth over, this data are missing, because it's hard to capture this all those data, because the data side we make and found in this web, or maybe when we scrape the data from this web server, there may be some kind of error we received, and these are the drawback we received. Even in your after your project presentation, when there is some difficulties you can face, if the people arise this question, you can mention that type of questions, that when you scrape that data, then there was some kind of problem or the difficulty you face, and that's why some slight part of data was missing in our working data set. Okay, and then the bowler batsman run means that ball what a run that batsman scored, then your extra runs and the total runs of that ball, and so on the data. Then dismissal, because if there is no wicket down in that particular ball, that's why it's written as a NA. Okay. So this is the main data set we will be working. So for whenever we will be working on any kind of directory, like either it's an CSV file or maybe our Excel file, we have to use the good libraries that Python we already provided to us. In general, in our data science scenario, we more or less use NumPy and Pandas to basic, like our changing some kind of data discrepancy and basic data modification we can use. Okay, and rest the some advanced module will be required for our predicting the models. Okay, that time we can use that scalar and scipy and all those kind of module. So let's rename our project then. That is IPL dataset. Yeah. Now first, if you want, you can write some description. Okay, like a one and two basic line of introduction of cricket and IPL, so your project looks a little bit better. You can just Google it and copy it down, and you can also add one logo here. Okay, like say this such IPL poster. Go for images. Let's find one good image that we can import here. Say this one. This one is looking better, but this is uh, not horizontal. Okay, this one. You can download a like this type of good data set and little bit edit it out, so it will looks more better. Okay, I don't think I have any more good poster. Okay, this one is much better. Let's open our website. Let's copy it out. Now there is one good technique. If you already work with Jupyter Notebook, we can directly import that images. Sometimes people can suggest that there is some module or the libraries presented in our Python called IPython or iimage. But rather than that, in our Jupyter Notebook, we can easily directly import it without any libraries. How? First, let that cell as a markdown page. Markdown page means this can be referred as our documental page. Okay, we cannot run any codes if we mark this cell as a markdown page. How? You can change from this code to markdown. Okay, or you can use the shortcut command escape and m. If you just type in your keyboard escape and m, it will be directly converted to your markdown page. Now, how you can import your logo? You can put this square bracket after this round bracket. You paste that URL in your round bracket, or maybe if you have some uh, your image, if you stored in your local directory, you can just write that directory here, and in here in your square bracket it should be some alternative text. Alternative text mean, as if you work on HTML, if your photo isn't loaded, then there will be some chance of error you will be receiving. So as far we do not see the error, we do not want to outcome that error to other people. That's why we use some alternative text. Okay, maybe I am writing here is say image not found. Execute. So your photo is imported here. Now, before we do, or maybe we can import anything, there will be some chance that we maybe receive some kind of warnings. Okay, if you want to know what are the warnings, then in the smart duration I do not have time to discuss about it, but warning means sometimes your Python libraries inform you that maybe for your future references it may get some kind of error. That's why it can be suggest you that you may receive some kind of warnings. So that's why I can ignore that warning at the beginning. So my code will be much cleaner, because if I do any kind of mistake, it will directly show is my error. Okay. Otherwise, if there is no error we will receiving, rather than we receiving some kind of warnings regarding my code I am written here. So that time I am ignoring that. So ignoring that warnings. For that, there is one library presented in our Python, that is import warnings, and I am ignoring that. Warnings dot filter warnings, correct? Then I'm ignore. Okay. So you don't have to know much about it. And if you receive any kind of error regarding importing any kind of modules, that means that modules may not be existed in your library. Okay, if you use simple Jupyter, then in a Jupyter environment, that is a root environment. How you can find root environment? In your Anaconda navigator. Okay, in your Anaconda navigator you can find that. But if you use other code editor rather than your Jupyter or maybe Colab, Google Colab, then maybe there will be chance that you will receive errors. So that time you have to install that library, okay, in your system by using pip command. Okay, pip install, then your library name. Simple. In your terminal, you can write pip install and your library name. Okay. If you use no, means in a normal, rather than your normal environment, if you use some virtual environment, then you have to activate that virtual environment, and then you have to open that. Okay. See, this is my environment currently I'm working on. This is a root environment, and this is all those say. So it started up. So you can see it's written as a 475 packages available, because for my work I already downloaded something, and something already some libraries already by default provided to us. In your Jupyter notebook, more than 200 or around 300 libraries are available, and automatically it will be available to us when you install this Anaconda navigator. That is, and from there we can access to our Jupyter notebook. Okay, if you want to create another environment, you can create here. So there will be no environment will be created, then may you can activate that environment and install some kind libraries that you will be working on. But for your simple purposes, you don't have to do that. Okay. Now let's import our basic data. Okay. So let's heading out of markdown page. Okay. Now, if you want to import your data, let me first send it to your. I'm sending here in your chat, so you can download easily. Okay. So the data is sending there. If you installed after if you install Jupyter Notebook and all kind of things, if you already paste your data to your current working directory, then you don't have to change your working directory. Otherwise, you have to change that working directory to your current working directory. Otherwise, because you maybe throw some kind of error there. Okay. So as this is my different folder, I'm copying this folder path. Now let's first, there is one module called import OS. OS module is the main key module that in your daily life of data science we will be working when we have to change directory or maybe change any kind of directorial commands or maybe OS related commands. That time we use that module. Then we can check our current working directory using os dot get chd, means get current working directory. If you command it out, then why it's showing error? Os dot get, okay, get cwd, not chd. So this is my current working directory. That means if I open my system in my local disk C, this is my current working directory. You can see that it is mentioning, but my data is presented here. Okay. And even if your normal live scenario, maybe the root folder like your drive C, if you work in an industry, this folder may not be accessible to you. Maybe some other drive may be accessible to you as a user drive. That time you have to change that working path. So how you can change that working path? We can use this OS module. Okay. So we can write like OS dot chdir. So chdir means change directory, and then we paste our path. Okay. And instead of one single forward slash, we will use, sorry, backward slash, we use double slash. There you can see our current directory is changed.
Hello, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Sir, instead of double backslash, can we use front slash?
Yes. You
Both
can
are
also use
same.
that. Both are same.
Okay.
So now let's import our libraries. Import libraries. Now here one thing is important. There are many people has their opinion how they will like um, extract those libraries there and how they will distinguish them in the different cells. Means when you like import one single library or maybe import whole library in that same cell, some people, what they will do, they will simply import maybe some library in that cell, then we will do some chunk of codes there in the different cell, then they may import some other libraries in another cell, and there will be many cell will be there where they will be importing libraries. It may be your working friendly, okay, but it may not be looking very good when you present your code to other people, or maybe you will do some kind of presentation. So what I will do is I always try to use one particular cell to import all kind of libraries there. Okay. And if suppose if after some chunk of codes I need to import one library, I always try to like scroll up to at the front of our page, like here, and I will try to import the exact same libraries there. So all those library will be at same spot. Okay. So for our simple, because this is not much hectic data set. So even if we use simply our lumpy or pandas, maybe for our basic EDA part, we can easily work on. If we need any kind of libraries there, then we will see. So import numpy as, why we writing as means we giving as a alias. Okay. And also import pandas as PD. And lastly, for our visualization, import matplotlib dot pyplot as PLT. Those are the three major library that we'll be working on, and these libraries are such that the more practice or the practical work you will do, the more you will remember. Even if you study from beginning of your pandas technique to end of it, then you will try to work on. It may be helpful, but I prefer you at least have some basic ideas of these libraries, then directly jump into some practical presentation. So after we import the data, you see there is no error we will be receiving. Then let's import our data set. Okay. We can use that read underscore CSV function from our pandas to import the CSV module. If you have Excel, then you can use read underscore Excel and so on. Okay, this read underscore CSV have many functionalities. Okay, so it's loading the data set. Say df equal to pd dot read underscore CSV, and then our file name. What is our file name? File name should be here. Let's copy it. As I already changed my dataset to this particular IPL folder, okay, that's why it should not be throwing any error. Even if you don't want to use that OS library, you can directly paste this entire path here in your read underscore CSV. It may also not may, it also work for you. Okay, and maybe if you have some more than 2 or 3 working directory, then there will be some other technique that we will follow. Like we try to add these all directories to one single to this our home path. IPL matches dot CSV, so df dot head. See, this is our entire data set. I'm this method is df dot head means I'm trying to only showcase some front side of our data. Okay, so maybe some top side of our data. By default, it will take 5 rows. So that's why I can see the 5 rows and all those columns are visible. Okay, city, date, venue, neutral venue, and so on. Now let's try to see what are the dimension of our data set. Okay, you can see using this shape here. Using that technique, shape is not a function, rather than it's an in our, according to our oops concept, it is nothing but the oops variable. So we just call it our variable. So that's why we did not use this round bracket to call an function, rather than we just call that variable here. And we can see it has more than 816 rows and 17 of our columns. Okay. So not so very big data set, because in our second data set, as I already do, it's an more than maybe around of 2 lakhs of rows will be there. So when we try to work on, there may be some kind of discrepancy we may face. So let's see when we will try to work with the both data sets.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, can you share CSV file once again?
I already shared in this chat.
Sir, I am sharing in the group, WhatsApp group, right?
Yes, yes, you can share in your group.
Yes, sir.
Maybe
In which
later
group?
on, after we finish that session, I can also share that, no issue.
Okay, sir.
Okay, but after we finish that session, Ramakanto, you can share it in this 15 and 17 group.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will.
So now in our pandas there is another type of function is available, that is called info, where we can see that basic information of the data we will be receiving. So let's call that df.info and execute. You can see it gives us some basic information, like here one is called is not null. That means it, in that entire row of our data, there is 860 rows are not null out of 816. That means we do not have any missing data there, but it may not be equal for other. You can see 803, 812, 799, here is 19. So that is you can see this is one of the major column that we have to work on before we can proceed to our EDA. So this type of working that I already started is called our data pre-processing or the data processing. Okay, data processing in your normal life scenario, there is maybe 2 or 3 times data pre-processing came. One is our before EDA and another is our before modeling. Okay, where we will try to encode this data set and so on. So there are you can see some like here we can see that why there are some missing value there and what are the reason behind it. Okay, we have to explore through it, those here. Now if we see, say, df, now how we can access a column, say our date column, how we can access that? You can write df in bracket, the most common technique, your column name in quotation, and execute. You can see your whole column value as your 1D vector. You can, instead of doing this, you can also write here like df dot date, and it also showcase to your data set, sorry, your vector. You can also use lock and ilock method, and it's up to you which method you will choose. When you will be working on real life industry, you definitely had to work with LOC and ILOC, that is lock and ilock method, rather than this basic DF, because if you do not use that, you will receive warning. Okay, there are such kind of techniques that you may have to do in your future, and for that you will receive warning. Okay, here I am not getting any warnings as I already ignored that in the beginning. So this is our date column. Now from the date column, we can retrieve some kind of important information that we may require for our data analysis process. Okay, even in EDA or the modeling part. So you can see in the date column, in our naked eye, you can easily retrieve the year, month, and the date column. Okay, so if you easily receive year, month, and the date column, and from, because it's a mentioned as a normal date time, so we can also retrieve some important, like if this is a weekday or not. Okay, And we can also, okay, before doing that, you can see this is date type as an object. So the data type we have to change. We have to change to our date time data side rather than the normal object, or maybe some normal object means normal our categorical value. Okay, string. So we can use that inbuilt date type function in your pandas available. We can write like, now for our modification of a single column, we can write like this more exact column like df dot date or df date, and then we can change it here like pd dot, we can convert it into a date time. So 2 underscore date time, and yes, pd dot 2 underscore date time, and then you can provided that value, say df dot date or df in bracket this code is a dot date. So you can execute, there is, yes, there is no error, that means our date is changed. Now let's retrieve that idea of like year month date, and also weekday. We can easily retrieve that, and we can store it in our different columns. So we can create new columns by using our data frame. Then in bracket we can write that new column name. Say I want to create year there, so date time in bracket year, that means pd dot. Now in this date time, there is one function called date time index, where from each and every single data set we can convert it to in a single like your data and simple date time module, and from the date time module we can retrieve like year or month or date. How? The mm, date date time index. Okay, then we have to provide it that exact value df dot date. So it will create that simple like in a tuples method, and from that we have to retrieve that year. So we can call that easily by using year. Say execute. Now let's check our module. So when we called our dataset, you can see easily that year module is presented, and also there is no changes, you can see, but there is some this date is already changed to our date time dataset. So year is created. Similarly, we can create say month, same. We can copy it. Instead of year, we can write month for your month. Similarly, for our day, okay, day, and last is our weekday. Hmm. Now let's check. There is no error. You can see year, month, day, and weekday. So weekday also has some basic property. If you want to start from 0 or start from 1, if you want to refer the start 0 as a Monday or maybe 1 as a Monday, there are some function we can apply. But for now, I am not much going deep into that, because those kind of things, if you finish in your Panda session, then you can apply there, and maybe Ramakanto can send you those videos as I already covered there. Okay. So, and if we do not write anything, just write our data frame here, it automatically shows you the first top sum rows, like 5 or 6 rows. Here you can see 5 rows, and the bottom 5 rows. Okay, it will show if we just simply call our data frame. Then let's check. The first procedure for our data processing will be if there is a null value or not. As you can see from our basic understanding from our information of our data, there is some null value. So let's check if there is null value or not. So df dot, we can check using the function provided to us, that is called is null. Okay, you can see there is two function, is null or is ini. I'm checking is null. Na is also try to find out your nan value, that's why is na. And null is also find when there is no values will be there, panda automatically describe as it's an nan value or the null value. So null value also try to retrieve this exactly same information. You can see there are when I'm checking this for whole data frame, so that's why it's saying our false. But this is not that exact output that I want that is the same like of output, like for each column if there is a total if there is some null value presented, then the sum of our total. Okay, so this is for whole our single column. How we can sum it up? We can use that basic function in our Python, that mathematical function. We can use dot sum, and it can sum it up, okay, to our whole column. Even instead of null, if you say search in a, it should be gives us the same output. You can see it should be gives us the same output. Understood? So now we have to check one by one, and then we have to retrieve if there is what kind of operation we can do. Okay. So for our basic data preprocessor and whole other kind of techniques, that pandas, learning pandas and this other technique are useful, but before that you have to be really good with the domain you will be working on. Okay, like say there are 13 missing values, 13 value are missing in your city. Now how you can replace that? Then you have for that you have to go through manually that column, what are the reason that maybe there will be missing data value, we can check based on then the EDA part will come, and there will be maybe some arbitrary reason the value will be missing. Okay, maybe retrieving information from, and how you can replace that nan value. For those whole kind of operation, there is a lots of techniques will be there, but we always try to fetch those techniques that is more suitable to us and more helpful to our work. Okay, so till now, do you guys have any question?
Sir, there is a question from my side.
You can ask.
Okay, sir. Actually, in this data set, I have checked that there is a two times Bengaluru and Bangalore. That is different
Hmm.
name. And also,
Hmm.
sir, there is a, in the team Rising Pune Super Giant and Rising Pune Super Giants.
Hmm.
Sir, when we should check this and completely transform to the single, that means Rising Pune Super Giants to Rising Pune Super Giant. That means
Yes, we have to work on. We have to work those discrepancy in our data. Okay.
Yes, sir. So when we do this at fast, yeah, at present when the data processing will start.
It's not matter because in our real life scenario, we are not get that easily simple available, like it's structured data. Okay, in a real life scenario, this type of problem you may arise when your target may not match. Okay, suppose in a simple example in your question, suppose in your 2023 there will be 15 matches played in Bangalore. Okay, that's the idea, or the key business idea you already received. Okay, or maybe you know regarding, before you working on this data set, you have some domain knowledge and some documentation will be there for you to read on. Now say you are working on, and when you are working on, you are maybe putting some, say, for different statistic of the different matches played in your Bangalore, then there should be 15 value or the 15 types of uh, EDA values will be there. Okay, but you are not receiving this 15 one. Now you have some question arise that why you are not receiving, maybe you are receiving 13 instead of 15. Now you are checking, there may be some kind of discrepancy we may found, and you try to cross check one. You try to check your from your venue column that there will be some kind of problems. So then you will maybe replace some value, or maybe replace this opposite value with the same value, then you will have that 15 value. As you mentioned, we will try to change those name and try to replace with a single name. So your whole column, like your rising Pune supergiant, will be telling as a single name. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
This is the key work that we analysts as do. Model building is not much difficult than working on this basic one. EDA, even in my batch, 15 batch, and even as much as I always talking about this data science, data analyst, always remember that data fetching, scraping data, data preprocessing, EDA, okay, feature engineering. Those are the major work that data science do rather than building models. Those are the major work that we will do. Okay, so any more question?
No, sir, till now.
Okay, so let's check one by one. First, let's check why there is the missing value in our city. Okay. Now, say let's using LOC technique. For once, I am showcasing to you the how we can use LOC technique. So instead of just writing, if you write df in bracket of city, and it will select your entire city column. Okay, if you want to check that say is null or not, maybe say dot is null. Is null is a data frame, which I don't think it will be allowed to our series. Is applicable. So it's showing is false. Now let's try to check, as it's a binary value, you may know maybe some value of false, some value of true will be there, because I am fetching 13 null value. So let's there is one technique called value counts. So I am doing, I am summing up, or the like counting up this total value for true and the total value for false. This is what value counts do. Simple basic group by that Python automatically does for us. You can see 13 true value will be there. Okay, now for those people who already knows about Panda, can you tell me that how we can apply that filter to find out this exact 13 row value or the 13 nan value? You can try, the batch 15 people, you can at least try how we can do. In meanwhile, for the other people, I'm talking about how we can use this LOC method. Okay, LOC means we will write like df dot LOC in square bracket. LOC is our location. So inside there, we'll write we always write that exact location, either number or name. In row, if in our row, a row index will be a number, then I want to fetch say 1, 2, and 3 row. So I will write in a list 1, 2, 3, and comma, then say our 2 column, say our winner and say winner, say player of the match. Winner and the player of the match. To execute, you can see for our 1, 2, 3 rows, I am fetching winner and the player of the match. If you remember in the simple method, you will master this LOC and the ILOC method. Okay. If you want to showcase one single row value, you don't have to use that square bracket. Like you have to don't pass have to list. You can just simply pass in your single name. Say first row and this column. Execute. You will have winner. This two means your one column. Sorry, one row and 2 column. Winner and the player of the match, and this one value. Okay. If you want to gives you some range, say range from row 1 to 15, then I can use this basic like basic your Python range method in your core Python you will be learning, say from 1 to 15, and then these two column value execute. You will have from 1 to 15 these two column value. This exact same techniques that we learn in your core Python we can use in your LOC method. The difference between LOC and ILOC is LOC only use that exact location. You have to provide that location, and ILOC is you have to provide integer location. Instead of I will write winner of the player of the match, I will write say 7th column and the 8th column, 7, 8. That's it. So let's find out using this LOC method. Now coming back to the batch 15, did you guys finish? Have you find out the solution?
Sir, df dot value count and then particular targeting the columns which we have to pick out.
No. You don't have to go for much complexity. You can simply use that filter. How you can use that filter? You can write like say df in bracket say df city, isn't it, is null. So it will gives us the true or false value. I want to retrieve only those true value from df. See, if you write, isn't it, if you write df dot is null, it will gives us true and false value. When I pass this condition, you know na, already when you pass any condition, only the true value will be fetching.
Yes,
False
sir.
value won't be fetching. So we can only have this
Oh.
true value.
Okay, sir.
Rather than let's, as we use this LOC method, so we can write say df dot LOC in bracket. We can pass that function. Is null. See, the 13 rows will be fetching. Now in our city, you can see say maybe in your df city column, those are our city. Now here let's find out a unique value that we have. Now see here the interesting thing. we have city like Bangalore, Chandigarh, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Jaipur, Hyderabad, means Indian location, Chennai. Okay, those are the Indian location. Next is, if you remember, in that first, second IPL, or maybe second IPL, the least I am remembering it, second IPL was in South Africa because of some kind of Lok Sabha election that time, when Saurabh Ganguly was dismissed from that captain, and maybe Brandon McCullum was captain there in that series, if I remember. That's why this South Africa city values be there, like Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, Durban, Centurion, East London, Johannesburg, Kimberley, Bloemfontein. Okay. Then those are this Ahmedabad and Cuttack for our, the new team will be joined in this IPL series in the mean between, like Rise, in your example, Rising Pune Super Giants. Okay, and maybe Kochi Tuskers Kerala, those kind of teams for our certain period of time will be joined there. So that's why Ahmedabad, Cuttack, Nagpur, Dharamsala, Kochi, Indore, Visakhapatnam, okay, those are there. There are some NAN values that's we are receiving. And now, interesting part is, if you remove this in our common ideas, so after South Africa and India, there will be the IPL hosted in our Abu Dhabi. So in our Abu Dhabi, there is majorly three cities will be playing. One was Abu Dhabi, one was Dubai, and one was Sharjah. Okay. So we can judge that you can do manually. For our Sharjah Cricket Stadium, there is city's NAN value you will be receiving. For our Dubai Cricket International Cricket Stadium, we have a NAN value. So in your home, you can go for manually. Try for our Sharjah Cricket Stadium. Try to remove this NAN value as a Sharjah. Okay. How we can use? Using fill-in. I'm seeing one, like I'm not going for this filter option. I'm not going for this exact Sharjah. Rather than I am filling this whole NAN value as a one city, say Dubai, for a simplicity. So see, if we write, like, since there are missing value from, say, Dubai and Middle East venues, so we try to replace those city as their city names. Okay. Now say df city dot, say, you can use fill any option. This is the one function is available to us, fill any, and I am using, say, Dubai. Okay. So what it will does is it will replace all those NAN value to Dubai. Okay. Now I suggest you try spending some more time here. Okay. Instead of just feeling that only this Dubai, you can feel when there is, I'm telling you the logic. When there is Dubai International Cricket Stadium, you feel that condition as a, say, Dubai. When there is Sharjah, you can feel that as Sharjah. Okay. Mostly Dubai and Sharjah as the NAN value. That basic if else clause you can use. Okay. Simple. Even if you have to, if you use df dot loc method, Then instead of row, you can write, say, I'm not executing. I'm instead of writing hashtag df.loc in your bracket, there will be row and column. Your column are city that you are receiving. And what is will be your row? Your row will be this one, venue. So this should be exactly this condition that I'm creating. Instead of df.city, you can write like df.venue. Okay, df.venue. Instead of is null, you can write equal to say Dubai International Cricket Stadium. Okay, if you created that, execute, you can see that nan value and this whole Dubai value. Okay, now now you can do could do like that dot fill in a and so on. Okay, but for our simplicity, let's whole fill that city as a Dubai for our nan value. To execute, you can see let's check df city dot isna dot sum. You can see still will be receiving this na value. Now why will be receiving this na value? Because when we use this fill na, it's automatically doesn't change that value, rather than it will return that value. Means it replaces this na value as a Dubai and is returned it, rather than it changed our original database. So you can write here, say df ct and then equal to, then it will be automatically replace that. But I suggest don't go like just like that, rather than use this say one option that is available to us in your fill in option. Inside our fill in, there is called in place. In place is equal to true. That means it replaces this data value to our original data. If we execute, now let's check. You can see there are no null. Okay, so for our city, means our Dubai, the problem is solved. Next, check what is our null value. That means I'm hiding that column for now. Yes, city value is solved. Net is player of the match. So df in bracket player of the match dot is null. It's the same techniques you can use. Df. Okay. So why were we receiving this nan value? Because there are neutral values, toss decision, result. So if there is a no result in that particular matches, means these 4 matches, that means if the match is cancelled, then there will be no result. There will be no result margin, no eliminator, no method. Okay, as the match is always already cancelled there, that's why we are not retrieving any kind of value in here like player of the match. So even in our normal scenario, you can see those kind of row value are not relevant to us, because if this match is not played there, then how you will analyze there, any kind of analysis there. So we don't have any runs, any over data, okay, any ball track information data. Okay, you only have the scheduled data. It's not much relevant to us. Okay, so we can easily drop that. So how we can drop this particular data? You can use this drop method, say df dot drop in your bracket, and we pass our row number, say 241 in a list, because I'm uh, removing 4 row rather than the single row. That's why I have to pass through a list. So 241, 486, then our 511, and then 744. Okay, so and also drop will return to us rather than replacing our original data sets. So we'll use in place equal to true. If you don't remember if that option has in place option or not, you can simply Google it, or you can just shift tab to this method. You will have some little bit pop up of this documentation. Okay, and you can see there are one option is called in place. Okay. You don't have to memorize any methods there. You can just practice it out. Okay. In place equal to true. Now say execute. Say our df dot info. You can check there using info. See, player of the match, there is no null object, and our data set has now 812. Where is it? 812 entries rather than 816 entries. Okay. Now let's check df dot is null our some major column that has now major. You can see there that this winner and result are automatically settled out when you remove those rows. Now there are the result margin. Okay, see df dot result margin. We can also call like that a single row here. Say dot is null. Okay, now let's filter it out and pass inside our form. So there are say, 13 rows result margin. We are receiving 13 rows. So you are receiving here nan value for our result margin. That means, yes, you can see that one important information we are receiving from that column result. That means that match has been tied. So if there is tied there, that means the margin is 0, isn't it? That means both teams scored that equal run. So we can remove this nan method and we can replace within 0. So we can easily have this nan value removal by some meaningful value. So we can do like that.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
But sir, there has to be a winner because of super over.
Do you think before this 2009 and 2010 there was super over?
No, I'm not saying about 2009. There is 2020, 2019 there also. You can scroll
But
down.
we don't have any information. Na? You can see
Yeah.
if there is super over will be there. Let's say Dubai in last option. If there is super over, you can see there are no list of say our result as a maybe some because of rain, maybe
That
some
means
other
washout.
scenario, we don't know, maybe some other scenario, but if our result will be situated as a tie, when the result will be situated as a tie, we can easily use this margin as a zero value, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You can use that, like if you have enough information, then you can replace that, but we do not have any enough information, rather than this simple information as it's written as a type. So we can just simple say result df dot result margin. Let's copy it, so we'll use that technique. Say df df in bracket or maybe dot result margin. Okay. Then fill in a fill in a fill in a with 0 and in place true. Okay. Now let's check there are the no value. Let me check some. Now the major thing is our method. The major rows are the NaN value, because this is the really good reason why this is NaN value. You see df dot method major NaN value, because if we check what are the unique value presented for there, so NaN and Darkworth Lewis. Okay, so NaN means when the match goes as a normal on the regular basis, that time there were no Darkworth Lewis method uh, applied to that match. So we can easily replace this NaN method as some say normal or maybe regular. Okay, means one single categorical value. So it represent as this match plays as a normal match. So we can simply replace it with an regular. Say df method and then fill in a with our say regular. Fine. Execute. Now there should not be any kind of null value will be there. You can see we do not have any null value. Now for this data set, we done that basic pre-processing part. Okay, null value removal. Now we also have another data, the next one, that means this one, where the huge chunk of data will be there. So let's import that. Um, for now we will try to load the not the second, say ball by ball dataset. You can also design it from ball by ball, some highlighted option, and then let's import say df1 is equal to pd dot read underscore csv and import. Always try to use underscore or the dash in between this gap, means blank space, because maybe even in your normal Jupyter there may be normal error you may be facing, but when you will working or maybe deploy your model, there will be definitely some error you will receive. That's why. df1 dot head. Okay, see, we have this data set, lots of nan value, the logical nan value, because dismissal kind, you can see why there is nan value for this dismissal kind. Let's not write head rather than just execute oriented data set. See, see, dismissal kind, that means in that particular ball, batsman was Ricky Ponting, non-striker and player was the Brandon McCullum. That means in this particular ball, batsman runs, we score a single digit. That's why in that particular ball, the total runs was 1. Okay. Now, for this, for those people who follow cricket, tell me why is it necessary to write down this batsman runs, also the total runs, instead of just total runs or just Batman's run. Understood my question? Why is it necessary to just write down these two column rather than instead of just take a single of it? Okay.
But there are two batsmen always batting here. One is striker end and another is non-striker end. So you have to calculate both the batsmen's runs, and at the end of the over, you calculate the batsman and an extra, and then we find the total runs.
But I am calculating through a single ball. Let's in that say in that 6th over, the 5th ball.
Individual scores.
No, I'm talking about this exact. Say your 6th over, 5th ball, like you are playing in the striker end. I am bowling it to you. You score some run. Okay, so we can easily write as a total run. So why it is necessary to just they distinguish as a batsman run there for that single particular ball?
Individual runs is calculated.
Individual runs are miscalculated. How?
Is calculated.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's like say you are playing as a striker end. I am bowling that ball, and you score some sixes. So your total for that particular ball, your run is 6. So your batsman run will be 6. Your total run also will be 6.
So extra run means wide no.
So that's why say
batsman run is 0, but this ball was wide or no. So extra run will be added.
Extra run will be added.
Run.
That's why there are some key valuable information that we can retrieve from that columns. Okay. Now
Vice are there now. Wides.
Yes, wides. Say you are hitting 1 6 in a no ball. So your 6 will be your batsman name, and extra run will be 1 for your no ball. So total run will be 7. Isn't it? Like
Yes,
that. That the important is this dismissal kind. You can see those are 9 because in that particular ball, for that particular ball, if batsman didn't got caught out or any bowled out or any kind of out, that's why there is no dismissal. That's why it's treated as a nan. Similarly, if there is no dismissal kind, then there is no player dismiss. Okay, and also if you say you didn't caught out, or maybe in other scenario where there is no fielder involvement there, that's why it's also has some non-collinear fielder involvement. Okay, so those are the key column that you can see at the we have that major nan value. So let's check it out. First check what is our total data.
receipt. Okay. So, am I audible? Why am I have been receiving the notification that my headset is disconnected? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my Bluetooth headset is disconnected. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hmm. So, why? I don't know why I am like my microphone is working on my Bluetooth headset and my speaker is working on my laptop.
Yes, sir, that is the problem. Actually, Zoom Meet, I think, don't connect Bluetooth headset. I also saw that.
No, no, it's working till now until I'm getting that kind of mirror. But no issue. Let's continue.
Okay.
Just let me know if you like don't hear anything or maybe my mic stop working. Just let me know then.
Okay.
So this is the shape. Now let's check by using our info button df1.our.info. You can see we have a lots of null data also because the total is say 193,468 entries. Those are the major that we don't have the major, no, not null column, but in this bottom side there are the, you can see these four major column that we'll be discussing on. That's this dismissal kind, player dismissal, those kind of columns has the null object. So let's check df1 dot is null dot sum. Okay, see those are the major rows are our null column. Now before getting there, what yeah, Ramakanto said that we have this rising Pune supergiant, isn't it? We check, say our in which column that we'll be receiving batting team or maybe bowling team. Say df1 dot or maybe batting teams or batting team dot our unique value, then it has, see, rising Pune supergiants and rising Pune supergiant. So the one problem is this one, we have this repeated kind of value rising Pune supergiants and the supergiant, we have to replace that. And second problem is here in this batting team, if we find in our bowling team, we also have the same value. we also have the same value. You see, Rising Pune Super Giants and Rising Pune Super Giant. So we cannot select a particular column that in that column we will do this replace operation. We have to select this entire data set. So for that, we can simply use that entire data set to just replace these two value. Okay. Means say df1, let's do some heading, say replacing that observe replicate. Now we select df1 dot replace, then say in our Rising Pune Super Joint, you can select each of them, either this one or this one. With that replace, you want to is this one. Now I don't remember that which one was the exact name of this team. Maybe Rising Pune Super Giants was that exact team name. So I want to remove that value. So this is the value we try to replace with this one. Okay, and show it to our reflect to our final data set. That's why in place equal to true. Oh, replace. Now execute. You can see this is the value is already replaced here. Okay, so one of the major things you can write those kind of technique na, you can write in your after your project report, where you handedly like manually when you find those kind of discrepancy in your data, and how you will remove that discrepancy to get that exact result from your data. Okay, this is the main key point that you should mention in your report. Okay, now we have this null button. Say there are some also important information that we can make, that is, let's calculate, let's see how many of total balls are taken wickets. That means we want to check that in the total balls, this one, the total ball, how many of them are we have received any kind of wicket or not. For that, we can use this particular column, this is wicket. That means if a player is dismissal in that weak bowler, then this maybe some kind of value will be there. Let's check. See, df1 our is wicket dot unique value. Okay, see, array of 0 and 1, that means there the value where when there is the one value, that means we have wickets, that ball says wicket. Now we can count that total. How? Say we can use that filter option. df1 is underscore wicket equal to 1. This is the wicket we will be receiving. Oh, sorry. So those are the you can see those are the ball that you can see in your 12th over for first ball there is one wicket and that is caught. In your 17th over there is in your first ball there is one wicket that is caught out, and so on. Some information like player dismissed, fielder was where, and so on. Okay, now let's count that. How we can count? You can either use any column for that, like your balls or maybe each wicket. You can count this total because each and single row are nothing but the single ball information. We can also use this length function, as simple as that. Like simple length function, and if we calculate that, that means those are the total balls bowled where one wicket is received. Okay. Similarly, though you can play through it, like different kind of scenario you can make and you can play through it. Maybe there are, say, we want to find out where there were no extra runs. Okay, there are no extra runs. There you can see here in that 13th over there is one extra run. I want to find out how many balls are bowled while there is no extra runs. So when in your further analysis, if you want to like show some kind of feature that may be needed for your machine learning modeling, okay, that time if you want to compare with, then this type of information you may need to have. Okay, maybe if you have this kind of information, say for which particular ball people are getting wickets. Okay, maybe how many we can calculate in a particular ball, or maybe in a particular match how many are the extra runs we will be receiving. Those kind of ideas and the concept will be came up regarding this basic key question we may arise of. Okay, otherwise we cannot just think it. That's why I'm suggesting you just go through it, play through it, those data sets, so you can have this kind of basic funda. Say for our extra run, I want to find out no extra runs scored for the ball played. Okay, so similarly, instead of 1, I am using this as a no, I mean 0, and in each wicket it should be extra runs. The column should be extra runs. Yes, extra runs. Mexico. Okay. So more than the data we have, okay, you can see only the major bowling data are does not have any extra runs. Okay, major data. Now last part for our today, that is this nan value removal, that is our dismissal kind, player dismiss, fielders, those data. Okay, you can see this dismissal kind, player dismiss, and those data. Now one funda that I already talked about, that as in this particular ball there are no key batsmen are dismissed, you can see, as there is no wicket is showing. That's why this dismissal kind and the player dismiss should is the nan value is the correct, because there is no involvement in that situation. Okay, and also say when the ball caused the dismissal without reaching to any fielder. Okay, even including our wicket keeper, say any kind of uh, bold wicket. Okay, maybe played on, those kind of situation. And also there kind of another situation will be there when the player has hit boundary or the over boundary. Okay, or maybe some kind of extra runs, say your wide and four, those kind of situation where there is a no involvement of any kind of fielder will be there. Okay, So we can replace this nan value as a NA, means not applicable. There will be one categorical value I'm triggering here, that is that NA. So this kind of dismissal will be as our genuine reason that we can find out. Okay. And lastly, there are some say extra type. Okay. So when there is a null value in our extra type, that means simply you can conclude there is a no extra run. If you want to check, you can check with that column of extra run. That means there are no outcome that we are receiving in that extra runs. So we can also use that in a, or maybe if you want, you can use extra type as a okay, extra type as a NA will be much better because those are the categorical values. So we must replace with some categorical information there. Say our df1 dot extra type. What is our extra type? Achha, extras type. Extras type. And now that what are the unit value? Okay. So buys, wides, leg buys, no balls, and penalty. So we can replace this nan value as a not applicable. Okay. Or maybe you can use another option as a no extra for there. Okay. Let's start to replace that. And for your project report, you should mention that all the things that I am saying to you, you should mention from your observation. You should write that why there is the nan value, and you have the reason why there is the nan value in dismissal type. You have the reason why there is the nan value in the filter. You have the reason. Those kind of things you should document it to us in your documentation, project documentation. Say df1 in bracket. First is our dismissal kind. So dismissal kind, trying to do fill NA with our NA value. Okay, so NA, and then I also reflect that to our main data set. That's why in place equal to true. Now let's copy and paste for our other also, like first dismissal kind, then player dismissed, then our then our what is called filter, filter, and lastly is our extras type. Extras type. I'm replacing it. Execute. Yes, there is no error that I am receiving. That means we should not have any more null value there. Dot say some. Last is bowling team. What is the why bowling team has some null value? See, df1 dot bowling team dot unique. df1 bowling team dot is null okay. Why there is the bowling team as a null? Because that over how many other 191 rows, that means first innings some ball batsman will okay. So as we don't have much information to replace that bowling team, you can see how we can, if we have this batting team Delhi Daredevils, it's hard to just go through manually 191 rows and let's find out who are these, say, bowler, AC Thomas, Faulkner, in which team they will be referring for. It's hard by saying there. What we can do is we can use the reference from other team. Okay, how? Means say this is our data for IPL matches. Okay, this is the whole data. Now for that ID, this is the match ID. Say 335982 our match ID. Now if this is our ball by ball information, that means this one. So if we have that information, if we merge that data set means based on this ID column. So if we merge the data, that means for that exact ID, say this ID has over and ball. When we merge that column, merge that data from here to here, then for that exact ID, we have multiple values of Bangalore. We have multiple values of date, player, venue. This, I am talking about this row. For this exact row, we have this multiple value and we have all this ball information from here. Okay. So for our simplicity and maybe as we can simply ignore, we can simply fill this nan value. If you want, you can remove that. But I'm trying to, let's merge these two data and let's see what will be our outcome. Okay. There may be chance that key match ID, we have this here in our this data set, this ball by ball data set, and this match ID we have in our matches data set may not be almost equal. There may be some misrepresentation. Let's merge the data set and let's see. Okay. So, and we can easily merge that, but as I told, when you merge the data set, you have some unique value, that is we have here this match ID. From that ID column, we can easily use. So let's heading our merge our data sets. Say df2, simple. We can use this merge option, df.merge, and we have to provide. I am merging df means our base data to that second data, that is df1. I'm merging based on is our ID. So on equal to ID. Okay. Execute. There is no error, but you can see there is one blink of second. It will take time because it has a huge chunk of row. If you don't have like 4 GB won't be enough. 4 GB may lag in your system. If you have 8 GB in your system, you can easily run on. If you don't have high-end system or maybe laptop within you, you can use Google Colab, the exact same interface. Okay, and you can easily import there the dataset. You can easily import there. Either you can upload in your drive, or if you go through the basic tutorial, because in this shorter period of time it's not possible to like showcase each and everything. Like in this in my sessions when I completed there, I always go through each and every topic there, how you can improve. But you can go through this the basic tutorial page where you can upload this data from this drive or maybe from a system to your Google Colab. Okay, then let's say df2.info, and we have that all those values, all those column value from our primary data set, id, city, player, and so on. You can see this date is changed to our date time 60 instead of previously we had object. Okay, and this new data, that means for our single say df2, for our single value, you can see for this match id we have Bangalore, this date, player of the match, venue. Okay, and so on. We have this extra. Let's expand this option. In our pandas there is for pd dot set option, and we can change it to be display maximum rows or the columns. We can write like say display dot max underscore columns, as I am trying to showcase that maximum column there instead of this triple dot, which automatically minimize it. Then say 500. So I am showcase that maximum of 500 amount of column there. Execute. It executed. Now say df2, maybe df2 dot add. So I don't have to scroll down. Now you can see for a single match ID, you can see that multiple match ID will started repeating. Why? Because for this match ID, we start to have single innings, the ball number 5 and 6. For that first innings, 6th over, then 7th over, then so on, then 8th over, 9th over, and so on. The value I am using. So that's why the value is be repeating. Now let's check, because when we have df1 dot save, there are 1,93,000 some kind of rows information. When you merge the data, you can see that data value is somehow decrease. So you can check using say df1 minus say df2. You can see even we merge the data set, 372 amount of row is already missing from our 372 data are missing from our. Can you please mute from your side? Thanks. So 372 amount of row information is already removed from our information data set. So it is for our simplicity for our project, we can merge because we had to merge. There is some kind of analysis, further analysis we need to do for that. But some information some information data is already removed from our data when we merge that. That's why, as I always suggest, we always should have this data frame, like your df1 is our this ball by ball data, df is our basic this matches data, and df2 is our this merge data. So we have this all data frame to maybe some, if there is some information we have to retrieve, then we can easily use from this data frame, isn't it? So even we can merge, even we can working on, if we need those data, we can simply go through our df1 dataset and we can have them. Okay, so you can also check df2 dot, or maybe we can check the unique of it, say df2 our IDs. Okay, our IDs dot unique. That means I am retrieving that unique ID we have in your df2. Now compare it with our, say, df1 id dot unique. Okay, you see this is false. That means we do not have this exact equal amount of id from df1 and df2. So we, there are some, that like 372 amount of information is already missed from our dataset. Okay, so there are, you can conclude there like some idea, like those missing id, when we merge the data set, those missing id from those matches data set didn't include in that id from the bowling or the ball by ball data set. Therefore those data set may be as a result of faulty rows. Okay, so that's why these rows may be somehow not matching for the id of both data set after we merge. Okay, that's why you can say, we can write that we have maybe some more discrepancy we removed when we merge those data set. Okay, and now we have this final data. We have say df2 dot is null. Okay, and dot sum, I am summing it up. Now execute. You can see there are no data set. Sorry, there is no null data set. If there is no null data, that means whatever that we, this 191 of, where this 190 of one row of faulty data, my means there is no good information that we had. This 191 data we had removed. So whatever I discussed there, you can write it out in your project information. I am sorting out, say, our say, because of some IDs are not presented in both data set, as when we merge those two data set, we we resulted as a, say, decrease of 372 amount of information. So we can easily say those 191 information or 191 rows we may encounter in our ball by ball data set may be faulty, and after merging this two data set, we had a clear final data. That's it. So now we will go for, not today I will go, the next day we will,
Sir, can you scroll up?
yes,
Yes, thank you.
in the next day we will finally go for our this final EDA part. Okay, so that's it for today. Those the IEM people, I know there will be some fundamental, maybe you may face a little bit difficulty as pandas was not covered, but as I tried to little bit discuss these techniques that I used here, I guess it's not much difficult. And maybe there are some other people, I don't know, maybe some kind of other badges and all. For those, you have to go through like each and every part from our pandas, and it may require time, like go for each and every different steps of our advanced Python and all. Okay. So I hope you guys understand that whatever I tried to cover for today, in the next day, after the schedule, we will try to go for the directly jump into our EDA part. Okay. So do you guys have any question?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, for the next part, for the visualization and other things, so which data set we use then on the for the final one or the
The
DF
final
one?
one.
Okay,
The final data set.
the March data set.
We'll use both, like this single one and also the final one. We have some I had like some kind of idea I had, like what kind of would like little bit beautiful of pie chart and the bar chart. You will see.
Okay, so
some trend line we can build.
so one more question, as that there are 372 data gone, so this one effect in the data set or the final output?
No, you can see, but as we have more than, you can see the ratio, na. We have the 1,93,000.
Yes,
If
I got
the mere 372 rows are missing,
yes,
it's just mere data.
yes, yes.
It
I
may
understand.
like how you can check when we build this final model, what is the accuracy we have received after we did all kind of tuning, all kind of hyperparameter tuning, all kind of trade-off like bias variance trade-off. After did all kind of trade-off, what are the exact the output of our model we will be receiving? This is the key understanding. If we have a little after all those things, if we have the good model prediction, then I will say this 372 are not required for our model prediction of the building. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So okay, then I'm stopping my screen.
Hello, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, can you share that file?